A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much again for choosing to stay with us here at TV47. This is the day's counter, and indeed the next topic is very, very interesting, and I'm certain that you'll be very informed about it. But before we get into that, cybersecurity has become a great concern for most organizations across the globe, and Kenya is included. In fact, according to the 2015 cybersecurity report by Seriano Cyber Threat Intelligence Team, the public sector in Kenya lost more than 5 billion from cybercrime attacks. Now, followed by the financial services sector at 4 billion Kenya shillings. The report revealed how many organizations lack enough staff and security expertise dedicated to its security. The worrying thing is that 21% of organizations in Kenya are not concerned about cybercrime at all. Kenya has the highest internet penetration in Africa, with over having access to the internet, according to the report by Jumia Business Intelligence and GSM Mobile. The country has been targeted by moreover across the years, and in 2017 lost approximately about several billion shillings, which is second to Nigeria. So now we have two guests in studio with us who will actually be demystifying a little bit on cyber security and cyber crime. And we have David Musia, and we also have to my furthest right, George Mutune. George Mutune is a co-founder of Cyber Moron Solutions. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we have from ProTech, yourself, David. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Fantastic. So let's just start off by really understanding cybersecurity, what this really entails, because a lot of people think of, numbers and algorithms and data and science and really don't understand what this entails. So perhaps I can start with yourself, David.
All right, thank you. So from my end, I would say cybersecurity is all about the core aspect of protecting what matters to you, what matters to an individual, what matters to a corporate, an enterprise. From the perspective of data, all the information that you hold, that you think if it went out there into the whole world, that they knew about me, then how would it be fine? How would it be safe?
Right, yes. And of course now, according to the reports by, for example, Seriano, we find that a lot of organizations don't understand what cybersecurity is, and a lot of Kenyans don't know what the importance or the need is to secure your data and the systems in your organization. So maybe you can just comment on that.
Okay, maybe I'd want to split the topic into two. So maybe I can start with information security, and then I introduce now what cybersecurity is. So when you talk about information security, we have now the aspect of now the data that is stored in an organization. So we have measures like physical security. For instance, if I came here, left with a machine, or maybe was able to access your server room, now it means I was able to access that data physically. That falls now under information security. How do you secure such kind of data? When you go to cyber security, cyber is now the data which is held somewhere in the internet. So when you talk about cyber security, it's all about the issues, the measures, the technologies, and the tools that people, organizations, governments, international bodies, they can apply and deploy in order to secure that information, which is held somewhere in the cloud. Now that is what basically entails cybersecurity. Yeah, so talking about Seriano report, maybe to give you the latest statistics, in 2018, the country lost about 30 billion Kenya shilling. That is a lot of money. Basically, what that means is it could be less, it could be more than what was reported by Seriano report. Yeah? Right. The reality is most organizations which are being hacked today, they fail to report such kind of incidents for obvious reasons, because when they report such kind of incidents, it means they are going to spoil their reputation. Probably customers are going to start now trading with other organizations where they feel they are more secure, compared now to the organizations which are reporting information about now data breach. When it comes to securing that information, in my opinion, as a country, as individuals, and also as organizations, we are not doing enough to secure that information for lack of the skill that is required, and number two, for lack of now the budgets and also the resources needed to secure that information. Yeah.
When it comes to not doing enough to secure this particular information, of course, you talked about in terms of the budget. And so in your opinion, what really can be done in institutions then in order to ensure that the information is secure and people are educated and informed on the importance really of the systems that are put in place in order to protect the data? Perhaps you can comment.
Just to comment on that, it is that security starts from the very first bit of just educating your users. You'll be having a person picking up a USB stick just in written HR, and you want to confirm if what people are paid, who will be sacked next month, who will be promoted. The very core thing is not just in the technology itself, but in having to get your people, to get your employees, to get everyone in the organization to understand that security really matters, from cultivating a culture around security. And the other bit now goes into security. We having in a business setup from where I see it is that we're having people just pick a tender from maybe the ones that have been released by Central Bank, and then you sit in another organization and then you release the same tender with the same specification, but that is not your environment. So it means at the end of the day, someone who comes in might not give you, maybe they could have done the one for the Central Bank of Kenya, but because your systems are different, you might be looking at getting something that you do not even require. So it is depending on your budget, depending on the information that you're holding, you have a strategy on how do I get to where I want, have a strategy, where do I want to be, and then design that plan, how time to time I'll get to where I'm expecting to be.
Some of the threats really when you look at cybersecurity include botnets and software engineering, ransomware. Can you just start off by demystifying botnets, for example, and how you can overcome some of these threats when it comes to cybersecurity?
Okay, so if I am a hacker, and by hacking I'm referring to the black hat, the bad guy, because we have another team of hackers who are hired by organizations to try and penetrate their systems with the main aim of advising that organization on what measures do they need to put in place. So if I'm a hacker today, I wouldn't really rely on my machine to try and attack a target. The reason being, it is very possible for that organization to do a checkup or an assessment, and it would mean that I will be on the wrong side of the law if they identify that George is the person who did that hacking. So now what happens? I would try and target other machines. And basically today, everyone is connected to the internet. So I'm going to create a sort of a malware, which is a malicious script, and then distribute it using other hacking techniques. For instance, I can use phishing. Phishing is where I'm able to get some information about other users, like their email addresses, which most of the times, the email addresses are in the public domain. So I'm able to get some email addresses about other people. Then I'm able to distribute a malware. And then using that malware, when most users, because of lack of knowledge and lack of awareness, they click some sort of a link that I send using their personal emails. And when they click that link, automatically it's going to execute or run that malware. And when it runs that malware, it will now create a zombie in that computer. And now that computer will become a bot. And using now the bot, I'm able now to start sending traffic, which is now malicious, to my target. Like I can say I would want to target a certain government agency. So I would create a set of botnets, now what we call botnets. There are very many infected computers which will now start sending malicious traffic to the target, which is now the government agency, creating what we call a denial of service attack. Meaning, when you have a legitimate user trying to access that agency, they are not able to access the resources. Reason being, there are already too much traffic which is being sent by the botnets. Now that is what it means with the botnets.
All right, and even just by observation, one of the theme topics of today actually had to do with, women also in this particular space of cybersecurity. And even by observation, you'll find that about only 11% of the people that are in the cyberspace are women. Why do you think then women don't take up this particular challenge of going into this field of cybersecurity space? Perhaps you can comment on that.
I would say, even if I would recall this from a campus perspective, we were 50 guys and then there were six ladies taking IT. IT has been a male-invested industry, and that is the problem that even up to now we're still facing, because we wouldn't get other people from other areas to now come and do the cyber security. We are picking these 20% to go to, let's say, the institutions of learning, and then some of them go to cloud computing, data science, cyber security, networking, and all the others. But out there are opportunities, and as a cyber security professional, getting to understand we need different backgrounds to know how an hacker, a person, a black hat, a person who's trying to disrupt operations, seated from another end, I would try to think. So I would say it is important to have women, and it is the call that we should be making to students down there, from the very ages to the ladies now. Down there we have a career that is exciting, whereby you'll be making these exciting decisions, maybe when at a critical times.
And what is the gender role really in the whole topic?
The gender role, I would describe it as in cyber security, winning people with different backgrounds, so that you're capable of viewing one thing from different ends. You can. I actually ran such an article from a website called The Fifth Domain. They're saying we need more women. From an IBM report last year, 2018, we had 23%. In 2011, in 2013, we had 11%. From a Forbes report, we had 11% women in the cybersecurity space. So down those years from 2013 to 2018, it's quite a number of years, but we haven't seen a much of a growth in the industry. Maybe we should expect more.
And what really can be done in order to encourage and to absorb them to be actually more aggressive and participatory in this area?
What I would comment about that issue, we need to demystify the whole aspect of now the attitude and the culture of women towards technology and engineering. As my friend has said, it starts now with the class enrollment when it comes to IT. So we have like 20% enrolling to an institutional course to do IT, and then these people will go to different diversifications of IT, and then we'll have now again a smaller percentage going to cybersecurity. So the first thing that I would want to comment on this is media, first of all, should stop now the whole aspect of now portraying technology and engineering as a field belonging to the boys. Today we have the best ladies in technology. It's only that the numbers have not really caught up. But then again, we have brilliant females who are focusing now on cybersecurity, and there are very many strategies that ladies can use in order to grow their careers in cybersecurity. One of them is taking certification, which are very affordable. Number two, we have information in the internet where they can learn about cybersecurity. Number three, they need to practice and practice and practice. And then finally, it's about community and mentorship. We have ladies who are coming together in the field of cybersecurity, and we have those who have already advanced, mentoring now the ones who are interested to enter into the field of cybersecurity. And I would encourage more and more ladies to enter to that field. The reason being, in the workplace, we need a diversification. We need to also follow the gender rule, where we need to have an equality for both genders, male and female, in the field of cybersecurity. And also finally, for a hacker, they always target vulnerable people. And when they realize that ladies are not moving into cybersecurity, they are not aware about security issues.
Really? Mm-hmm.
It means that when they are creating profile of the targets, the people they need to attack, it means they would always give a preference to ladies, because they state this mentality that ladies, they are not really aware about cybersecurity. And also there is a huge pay if you're in this field.
Right, yeah. And of course that's a topic of discussion and debate at another time. Yes. But maybe just to wind up and finish up, I'd like to know what are some of the safety measures for even anyone really who is perhaps going through an airport and is just roaming through the internet to try and protect their data, or making payments online, putting their credit card details, or even visiting certain websites and not really able to discern whether it's safe and someone can hack into your information. What are some basic things that anyone needs to know, if right from the get-go? Perhaps you can mention some.
I would say mine would first start with a password. People have pathetic password. We still have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. every year coming up as the most used password. The one password is still coming up as the most used password.
Right. And
Every
also
year.
when you're saving your password, I mean, there are times when Google will ask you save your password. Is that a good thing? Would you recommend that?
I would say it's fairly a good thing, because we're having so many accounts. Because if you don't do that, at the end of the day, you'll be forced to have similar accounts. We're having more than even 70 online accounts. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They are safe. It's a safer way. Another thing other than the password would be connecting to another man's Wi-Fi. This could be a person who even makes, or even leaving your Wi-Fi on, maybe in an open place. Someone can create a Wi-Fi. Then as your phone is trying to query if there is a trusted Wi-Fi that you create from your home, they make such a Wi-Fi, give it all it requires, and then your machine connects or your phone connects.
Right.
So you'll be like, do I have my Wi-Fi from home here?
Right.
Then you'll be connecting. This person can now, being that they're now the administrator, they can see everything, whether you're accessing it from what you're accessing it from.
Right, and maybe you can actually add on to what exactly needs to be done for you to ensure that your safety and security for your data.
First of all, avoid connecting to public Wi-Fi. Bundles are very cheap nowadays. You can always use your own internet bundles, because when you connect to the public Wi-Fi, you are not assured of your security. And also, I would want to emphasize on the issue of using passwords. It still remains a basic and most important way of protecting yourself online. But now when you use your password, you should always compare it to an underwear. The reason being why I like comparing this password with an underwear is because you need to keep on changing it regularly. You don't share it with anyone. The longer, the better. And also, and finally, you don't leave the underwear laying in the open. So you need to hide it as much as you can.
Very interesting.
And then finally,
yeah.
About that issue of auto-saving your password on Google, when you are using like Google Chrome and then it asks you if you can auto-save the password. If I'm able to access your account, a single account, that is your Google account, it means then I'm able to access all the auto-saved password. Yeah?
Right.
So if at all you're able to keep on remembering the complex password that you're using, that would be better instead of saving it somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, unfortunately, that's the only time I had with you for today's discussion. But of course, we have a few comments that came in, and we will leave you with these comments as we actually end this particular segment and show of the day's counter, with a few people bringing in comments for the question that we had earlier posed today, which is, what are the challenges and opportunities faced by women in the cyber security industry? Of course, do observe what it is that women have to say about themselves being in this industry, as well as follow us on all the social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV47KE, and myself at Lucy_Riley. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you watching us on board today.
Women in cyber are 11% worldwide in the cybersecurity profession, and some of the challenges that face them is, one, the gender bias, and two, skill set gap. So this can be solved through having communities that mentor these women, and also having mentors and having women who do not need to be pushed, who are keeping up themselves with the technology, and this will have more women in cybersecurity.
Hi, I'm Clara Rinchuni, a woman in tech, specifically the cyberspace industry in training and facilitation. Previously, there were barriers to entry, but now women entering the tech space are very motivated and encouraged, and there are actually opportunities for that. However, once you go in, you realize you might be the only one in the room, or you might be the only one like you who is there. So you find that there's a perception issue when then speaking up becomes challenging, and then moving up the ladder becomes trickier and trickier because people hire people like them. So you find that there's the perception issue on women in tech is still not positive, not as positive as it would be for our male counterparts. And I would like to strongly thank the men who are supporting women in our space, the men who are giving us opportunities, and the men who are encouraging us to keep on keeping on. Thank you.